I mean, I've had people say, I want to read more. They say, I want to read more. And I say, well, get out your calendar. Yeah, you actually have to put it in your calendar. And they say, well, I show up and it's in my calendar and I don't read. I say, well, then that's the next thing to talk about is what do you do instead? What's the resistance? And then you actually have to look the resistance in the eye and says, I've picked the book, I've picked the time, I picked the spot, the book's in the spot, I show up and I don't do it. I said, then you need to look at the resistance square in the eye. And you need to have a heart-to-heart talk with your resistance. And what people do is they never get there. They avoid, they procrastinate, they dance around it, they never show up, they go look at their watch, oh, it's too late, I went to bed, I didn't have time. Not you don't have time. The resistance is so frightening that you never show up for the fight. So some people say to me, they want to do something. I say, well, pick the spot, pick the place, and don't do the thing, but at least show up for the fight. So we're scared to fight. I mean, I've shared with people with my jiu-jitsu. I'm 56 years old. I'm fighting guys half my age, tougher, quicker, stronger. I get hurt a lot. He said, why do you go? So I don't even ask myself why I go. I just show up. I just say to myself, I need to be there at 11 o'clock, walk through the door, whatever happens, happens. And I got better at it. But if I would ask myself how I feel, right? Every time I go to my jiu-jitsu class, if I start asking how I feel, I don't go. The minute I say, how do I feel today? Well, I feel my age, first of all. Everything hurts. And so I don't even know how I feel. All I ask is, what time is it? Right? And where's my car keys? That's it. I say, oh, I'm late. But then I have a set position for that because I talked to the trainer. He said, you walk in any time you want. You can be as late as you want. Okay, so I can't use that anymore, damn it, right? Right? So, I remember, getting my gear on, had my car keys, and fighting myself. Because I didn't want the pain. I said, okay, just get in the car and deal with the pain there. Deal with the pain in the studio. I don't have to get on the floor, don't have to get on the mat. I just got to show up in the room. Right? So there are many people that whatever it is their thing is, whatever it is they want to master. What people do is they avoid the fight. I'm talking about the resistance. Show up to the resistance, sit down with the resistance, look at the resistance square in the face. So if your issue is anger, then show up with the resistance to not be angry, or depression, or kindness, whatever your thing is, at least fight it, at least bring it up, at least have a heart-to-heart talk with the thing that says, I can't be kind, I can't be understanding, I can't be empathetic, I can't be forgiving. At least fight it. But most of us do, we never come near enough it to fight it. So that's right. So the habit is get close enough to fight and then see what happens. So if being a loving person is part of your, as it were, standard, the amount of skills involved are profound, deep, complex, and mysterious. So people think, oh, I want to be a loving person, as if it's a decision of attitude. Right? So it's not a decision of attitude. I'm not talking about the margins, Hamas, Hitler, that. I'm talking about people with whom we're going to find ourselves in proximity, in our families, in our communities, in our workplaces, etc. The love, of course, comes within judgment. You see, a person who's objectively wronged you, you have to use moral judgment. You can't say they didn't wrong me. You have to be objective. You have to be true. They wronged me. Now what? Okay, the question is, am I sturdy enough? If the wrong was not venal, let's say it was a mistake. We talk about many times, bumper car theory. We bump into each other all the time. Was the hurt venal? Was it a pure act of malice? Or was it somebody in a clumsy moment? You can choose. Is my standard so strong and my attachment so strong that I will say, I'm going to overcome this slight injury to my ego. It was wrong what they did, but not wrong enough to take me off my standard. So I will have to metabolize that sense of injury and return myself to my standard because my standard is more important than the injury to my ego. Yeah, I mean, there's many things involved. What I'm saying is something like love my neighbor, in my mind, doesn't mean don't judge. It means which is more important, your standard or what I'll call the objective degree of the injury. But the main thing I want to say in response to you is that something like love sounds like an emotion,
is an example of what I mean. It's a habit. It's a learned spiritual virtue that must be practiced every day. It is not an inner disposition. It is a mastered virtue that has to be relearned at every time.